I'm here with Tum Voorn in the Netherlands at Energia Martialarts, a beautiful facility, brand new facility that he has built, and he's building an incredible team here. Tum is one of the young, up-and-coming, is it too much to call you a rock star in Jiu-Jitsu?
Yeah, for me it is too much. Yeah.
But he's an amazing Jiu-Jitsu practitioner, killer leg locks, really great modern game, and I thought it would be fun to bring him on the channel and have him share his top tips for beginners in Jiu-Jitsu.
Cool.
So Tum, I'm new to Jiu-Jitsu. What do you tell me? What kinds of things do you think are going to give me an immediate way to improve my game and avoid some of the mistakes and pitfalls that you typically see with white belts?
Cool. I'm very curious if you agree with these. First off, I want to go into a bit more conceptual, because I know you appreciate that as well. Most beginners, they focus so much on winning and just going to a lot of classes and training a lot, especially training hard, but not so much on training smart. Now, that's pretty broad, so I'm going to be a bit more precise and specific. If you go to class and you just train, you'll get better. You'll spar, you'll get better, you'll focus on winning. But at the end of class, it's like, good time, go again tomorrow. Now, my best tip would be, and it's very small, just after every class, make a small note on your phone, just very short. What do you take away from that day? Can be something from the class, can be something from sparring, can be something small, like, hey, I should not leave my head open like this, or I should not give that underhook too much, or wait, my balance sucks, I get swooped too much. I should focus on that. Then at the next class, just take that small note for like 10 seconds, 20 seconds, and just open it right before class, or maybe in the water break right before sparring. So you go into that specific class or sparring with that mindset and just at least that minor goal today, instead of just don't die or win. It's too broad. Just get a bit more specific. Don't go all full analysis, just small baby steps. I think for beginners, that's easy to find your way in that vast ocean and jungle that is Jiu-Jitsu in the beginning. What are your thoughts on that?
I totally agree with that. In fact, I tell people to always have something specific that you're trying to improve. Now, when you're a brand new white belt, there's so much to learn. You might not be able to pick out something necessarily as well as you would if you've been training for a long time, but you should always have something. And what is that thing that you should focus on? Well, it's going to be informed by the problems that you had that night training.
Exactly.
And so maybe you go to your coach, maybe whatever, and they'll say, okay, here's a tip for dealing with that problem. Make a note of it. Come back tomorrow with that in mind. And so I agree totally with that.
Yeah. And sometimes you yourself are your best coach. Well, obviously you need a good coach and good teammates. Yeah. But sometimes the class can be, for instance, passes, but you're always experiencing problems with people taking your back. Then you can look at all the passing classes in the world, but you're not fixing that problem. It's just so on your mind, and your goal might be to fix that back problem. Watch some videos maybe, ask your coach, get a private, and then deal with that, starting with small notes. Now next off, let's do something practical. What I see with a lot of beginners, especially here in the Netherlands, people are pretty strong and big. We're, I think, the tallest people in the world. People start off on their knees. They want to wrestle. Just bear with me for a second. And they're going to use upper body. They're going to push. And they're going to play. And they have an experienced guard player, or either someone who's stronger, and they compromise their base. So let me talk a little bit about something practical, which is base and your structure and posture, a word we use a lot in Jiu-Jitsu. Now, what often happens with people when they start, they want to push upper body, they want to dominate the other person, which is logical for your first class, and then they're lifting their butts from the heels, their head goes in front of their knees, and they are so easy to get swept, attacked, arm dragged. Especially if I'm playing guard, the more you lift your butt, you come up front, I'm arm dragging you, I'm taking your back, I'm catching your head, I'm swooping, etc. So my tip would be to, when you start out in Jiu-Jitsu, try to at least get this center of gravity where you center yourself. Don't get your knees too small, get a wide base. And as you progress forward, because you want to engage in the Jiu-Jitsu art, then always have your legs lead and follow. So don't go with your head first and your upper body butts over, but try to slide in, get in, and be like this. It looks ridiculous from this side, I agree. Even if your legs go, don't give the leg, especially to someone who knows how to bolo or leg lock. But just even if you put the foot up, keep your base tight, keep your head above your belly button, your center of gravity, and engage with the legs and the guard. Instead of reaching forward, getting disbalanced and getting choked, arm dragged, etc. I think that's a good one for people starting off. I see a lot of this. I hope you agree with people starting. They're like, okay, fist bump, slap, and then they start pushing like two rhinos, and a good guard player is going to sweep you or choke you. Or someone stronger will still dominate you. And getting that base and centering in your in your jiu-jitsu not only helps you physically, but also mentally to just be a bit more patient. Don't lean backwards if someone tries to grab your gi, like stripping grips, because you'll get swept the other way. Just stay in your base and follow with your legs as you approach.
You know, it occurs to me that same concept is true from guard if I'm in your guard. So if you put me in your guard. So a typical escape, right? I need to get a knee in and create some space and open. But what I see happen is the same thing. My head can't go past my knees because the minute I come forward, you're going to pull me forward. That's the moment we lose it. So I always tell people there's a wall here. You can't get your head past that point. How do I get my knee in? Well, I have to move myself back, creating my posture, keeping my posture where it needs to be. And now we can open and deal with that. So
Super cool.
I think that same concept applies there too.
That's very fun. We did a talk recently talking about the same concept, that there's a box, square box in the guard, and you're safe behind the box.
Yeah.
Underneath the box, like completely stacked out or going into Sao Paulo, but never inside the box. That's where trouble happens. Arm bars, triangles, and sweeps. Super cool. Yeah. This is the most practical thing I can tell beginners. Center, base, and approaching the guard like that. And maybe then one more to finish off.
Sure.
Something else conceptual. Besides the cliches of like have fun in jiu-jitsu, try not to win. Let's make that a bit more precise. Is okay, what's the goal in class? Now it mixes up with the first one, but this is a bit more. How do you look at winning? How do you look at the skill in the art you're doing? Even if you're a competitor, if you take every match and you try to win and count as many subs as possible, make the battles smaller. So you can win the war. That's like, okay, man, I tapped you 4 times, you tapped me once, yeah, I won. But the war might be, okay, man, I'm dealing with Rick's passing every time. Today I have one goal. Don't let this guy pass, but I cannot keep him in close guard. Okay, that's my battle for the day. And you can submit me 100 times, that's okay. That's another goal. We can take my back, but that day, my goal is, how do I approach this sparring? And what's my goal, and what do I think about winning? What is winning in any way, in essence? Especially with your teammates. You cannot win, they're teammates. Or maybe give yourself a challenge. Oftentimes people have their ego, because we all have. I still do. I'm not sure about you, but most people do. But especially beginners, they want to win and choke. Okay, Rick, please start off in my back control. I want to learn to escape your back attacks. And yeah, I will lose that time, a lot of times. But getting myself into that position where I know I will not dominate, it's not my A game, will make me better.
Yeah.
Because oftentimes, especially this also goes for advanced jiu-jitsu guys, you always funnel the game into your game. If I roll with someone from my level or lower, we always end up in some sort of leg-lock shootout. I don't know how, but it always drags towards that game. And then I can get better at that game, but sometimes I'm like, hey man, okay, I want to find his game. I'm going to go completely into his close guard game, now try to beat and solve that puzzle, which is a metaphor for jiu-jitsu often, instead of focus on submitting or winning the match. I think that's
I think it's, recalibrating what success means.
Exactly that, yes.
We think that success is only if I was able to get the tap. Well, success might mean he had to work harder this time to tap me. And especially when you're a white belt or even a blue belt, you're newer at jiu-jitsu, you're going to lose more battles than you're going to win. But if you recalibrate what success looks like so that it reflects the fact that you're moving forward in a positive direction, you're getting better at jiu-jitsu, okay, I survived inside control longer that time. He took my back, but he had to work harder to take my back.
Or he did not submit me from back.
Or he didn't submit me from back. Those things are great victories, and that's a better way to gauge your progress in jiu-jitsu.
And it also makes you happier, because you don't go home as a beginner feeling beat up like I lost 100 times, but you go home like, okay, I got tapped 20 times, but man, no one got my back. Or hey man, I didn't get swept with the same pendulum sweep again and again. And I think that's a good way to
even
approach
as a black belt, sometimes, it's sort of the same philosophy. You go into a tough room and you know that you're gonna have some wins, you're gonna have some losses in that room. You still have to calibrate what success looks like.
100%. Cool.
Fantastic, I appreciate it. It was so good to be here and meet you and train with you. Where can people find you?
Well, in the Netherlands, obviously. We have some gyms here in the east of the Netherlands. But online, the easiest thing would be our YouTube channel, Energia Martialarts, and anything on Instagram, Tum Energia, Energia Martialarts, BJJ Fanatics. I'm sure you guys find your way.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you so
Rick.
much.
Thank you so much.
It's an honor.
If those legs are tight, I might not be able to weave my knee out because he's going to be tracking that. So the way we clear that is I want to pull in and then pull away and come through. That usually clears it, and now I can peel this away. Now here's a fun way to get to the other side. I'm going to create some momentum, lifting my hips and shooting myself to that side. And look at this. We're in side control.
1, 1.